Hey, Cowboys Nation! Today we are diving deep into everything you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys as we look ahead to the upcoming off-season. As always, the off-season is a time for big moves, difficult decisions, and some tough roster cuts. And this year is no different. Fans are buzzing about who stays, who goes, and how the team will reshape itself for the next chapter. The reality is that the Cowboys have a number of high-profile players whose future in Dallas is up in the air, and evaluating each one is crucial for understanding what the team is trying to accomplish strategically. Let's start with the linebacker situation. Logan Wilson has been under a lot of scrutiny this year, and for good reason. His playing time has been inconsistent, and the evaluation of his impact has been complicated by how little he has been utilized at certain points in the season. It's clear that he has had moments of solid performance, particularly in the games against the Giants, where he showed some flashes of the player the Cowboys hoped to get when they acquired him. However, at a cap hit of $6.55 million, the investment seems high compared to the production, especially when the money is not guaranteed. On top of that, being placed behind Kenneth Murray on the depth chart repeatedly raised questions about his value to the team. The coaching staff's handling of him may have limited his ability to show his true potential, but the numbers don't lie. From a financial perspective, releasing him would save the full cap hit. And with no trade value at the moment, it seems increasingly likely that Wilson's time with the Cowboys may be coming to an end. Moving over to the offensive line, Terrence Steele's situation has been a hot topic all season. The offensive tackle market is tricky and Steele has not consistently delivered the level of play expected given his contract. With an $18.13 million cap hit, it is difficult for the Cowboys to justify keeping him under that financial burden. There is potential to save $8.75 million if he is released before June 1st and even more if moves are timed correctly after that date, potentially freeing up $14 million for investments elsewhere, such as the draft or defensive reinforcements. The challenge, of course, is that finding a reliable replacement on the tackle line is not easy. While there are names floating around, no solution seems immediately ready to step in and provide the consistency Steele should have delivered. This creates a real dilemma for the Cowboys as they try to balance financial strategy with on-field performance, making this decision more complex than it appears on paper. Another player under scrutiny is Malik Hooker at safety. Hooker's cap hit sits at $9 million. And while that is a considerable sum for his safety, it reflects the Cowboys' expectations for his impact on the field. Coming off an injury, Hooker has yet to produce the game-changing plays the team hoped for. And with limited trade value at his current contract, cutting him could free up $7 million to redirect toward another defensive playmaker. The safety position remains thin with other players in the secondary either improving or coming off their own injury concerns. This makes the decision about Hooker particularly challenging as the Cowboys must weigh the cost of retaining him against the potential benefit of signing or developing a replacement who could offer more consistent performance. Wide receiver Jonathan Mingo is another name that has come under scrutiny. Acquired for a fourth-round pick, Mingo's on-field production has been minimal with only 6 catches this season. At a cap hit of $1.96 million, he represents a low-cost option, but even that may not justify keeping him on a roster given the limited impact he has made. The Cowboys have other options at the wide receiver position, and releasing Mingo could allow for the development of younger talent or the signing of more proven veterans. Additionally, there is a small workout bonus due which further complicates the decision in the context of a team looking to optimize its roster and cap space. Mingo's role appears increasingly expendable, and his departure could be part of a broader strategy to streamline the receiving corps. Defensive tackle Kenny Clark is a player whose future may hinge on contract restructuring or extension discussions. His $21.5 million cap hit is substantial. And while he has performed well on the field, the Cowboys must consider how to manage that figure effectively. There could be a path forward that involves a 2-year extension to bring down the immediate cap burden, potentially allowing the team to retain key defensive pieces while creating flexibility for other signings. This kind of financial maneuvering is common in the NFL, especially for players who are important contributors, but whose contracts may otherwise limit the team's options in free agency or the draft. Balancing performance with financial strategy is a critical aspect of roster management, and Clark represents one of those pivotal cases where careful negotiation could benefit both player and team. Finally, let's touch on punter Bryan Anger, a name that often flies under the radar, but carries a notable cap hit of $4.1 million. For a punter, this places him among the top earners in the league at his position, raising the question of whether the investment is justified given the overall performance. Anger has been reliable, but his statistics indicate that he is not elite in every category, and the Cowboys could theoretically find a replacement at a lower cost. The decision to retain or release him will depend on the team's broader strategy, particularly regarding defensive investments and special teams performance. In a league where every cap dollar counts, even positions like punter can come under scrutiny, and the Cowboys must carefully evaluate whether their resources are being used effectively across the roster. These players represent the core decisions facing Dallas as they head into the 2026 offseason. The choices are complex, involving not just on-field performance, but also financial strategy, draft planning, and long-term team building. Fans can expect lively discussions around each of these names, as every move carries implications for how the team shapes its identity and prepares for the upcoming season. The off-season is a time for tough calls, strategic maneuvering, and sometimes surprising decisions. And for the Cowboys, this year promises to be no different. Continuing with the Cowboys roster valuations, it is clear that every decision this off-season will ripple across multiple positions. The focus is not only on players who may be cut, but also on how these moves affect the team's draft strategy and free agency priorities. For example, players like Cavante Turpin, Luke Schoonmaker, and Maris Bell represent situations where the Cowboys may not see an immediate need to make drastic changes, yet their presence impacts depth and competition within the squad. Turpin, with a cap hit of $2.3 million, offers a cost-effective option at wide receiver, while Schoonmaker at $1.6 million could potentially be an August cutdown candidate. These small financial considerations play into larger strategic choices as the Cowboys balance the need for emerging talent with the realities of cap management. The team's defensive depth will also come under scrutiny, especially in the context of developing young players versus relying on veterans. Elijah Clark and Maris Bell have shown flashes of potential, but consistency has been an issue. In the safety department, the Cowboys are thin, and decisions about whether to keep or release certain players must consider the larger defensive scheme. Donovan Wilson's potential departure in free agency and the status of W. Thomas as a restricted free agent complicate matters further. Finding reliable players who can make an immediate impact while also fitting within the team's salary structure is a delicate balancing act, and the Cowboys front office will need to be strategic in approaching these challenges. Another area of focus is the offensive line, which has been a recurring concern throughout the season. Beyond Terrence Steele, the team must evaluate potential upgrades and the allocation of resources to maintain a solid front. With the possibility of cap savings from cuts, there's flexibility to pursue reinforcements either through free agency or the draft. However, the market for top-tier offensive tackles is limited, which means the Cowboys may need to get creative, whether through restructuring contracts or identifying emerging talent in later rounds. This requires careful planning and an understanding of both immediate needs and long-term goals. As the offensive line is critical to protecting the quarterback and supporting the running game, the quarterback position, while stable, is also indirectly affected by these roster moves. Any changes on the offensive line or in skilled positions will impact the effectiveness of the passing game. The Cowboys must consider how potential cuts and acquisitions influence overall team chemistry and execution. For example, developing receivers like Tay and Holden and potentially bringing back veterans like Pickens could offer depth, but each choice must be weighed against financial constraints and the team's long-term vision. The challenge is to maintain a competitive offense while managing risk, cap space, and player development simultaneously. Turning back to defensive strategy, players like Logan Wilson and Malik Hooker highlight the complexity of roster management. Wilson's inconsistent playing time and declining role suggest a potential departure, but the Cowboys may still evaluate his fit under a new defensive coordinator or scheme. Hooker with a high cap hit for a safety underscores the tension between financial investment and on-field impact. The Cowboys need defensive playmakers who can influence games, particularly in critical situations, but must do so without compromising financial flexibility. These decisions will affect how the team approaches free agency in the draft, especially when addressing positions of weakness. Special teams are another crucial consideration. Bryan Anger's situation demonstrates how even positions that may seem secondary can have significant financial implications. At a cap hit of $4.1 million, the team must assess whether the investment matches the value delivered, especially in a league where special teams can influence field position and game outcomes. Balancing cost and performance in these areas is essential for building a well-rounded roster, and the Cowboys must carefully evaluate the return on investment for every player. Looking at potential extension candidates, Kenny Clark exemplifies the opportunities and challenges of managing veteran contracts. His performance remains strong, but the cap hit is substantial. Creative solutions, such as a 2-year extension to lower the immediate financial burden, may allow the Cowboys to retain key defensive contributors while maintaining flexibility for other roster moves. Similarly, restructuring deals for other players could provide additional cap space, enabling strategic acquisitions in free agency or the draft. These financial maneuvers require careful negotiation and foresight, ensuring that the team maximizes both talent retention and financial efficiency. Wide receiver depth continues to be a focal point as well. Jonathan Mingo's minimal production despite a low cap hit suggests that the Cowboys may look elsewhere to fill roster spots and develop talent. Bringing in younger players or low-cost veterans allows for competition and provides opportunities to identify breakout performers. Additionally, managing workout bonuses and other contractual obligations is a critical part of this strategy, as even relatively small sums can influence overall cap planning. The goal is to maintain a dynamic and competitive wide receiver group without overcommitting financially. Looking ahead, the off-season decisions will likely include a mix of cuts, trades, contract restructures, and draft strategy adjustments. Each move is interconnected as decisions about one player impact the availability of others and the allocation of resources. The Cowboys front office must carefully balance short-term needs with long-term planning, ensuring that the team remains competitive while building towards sustainable success. Fans can expect intense discussions around every name, every position, and every potential move as each decision carries weight both on the field and on the team's salary sheet. The cumulative effect of these roster decisions is a team in transition looking to strengthen weak points while maintaining core talent, defensive strategies, offensive line performance, quarterback protection, skill position depth, and special teams efficiency all intersect with financial planning, making the offseason a period of critical evaluation. Each player on the cut list or extension conversation represents a decision point that will shape the team's identity and performance for the coming seasons. The complexity of these choices underscores the importance of strategic thinking and adaptability in building a competitive NFL roster. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Rumors are swirling in the NFL world as the Dallas Cowboys reportedly pull off a move that could dramatically reshape their defense. Sources suggest that Carl Lawson, one of the league's most disruptive pass rushers, has agreed to terms with the Cowboys, sending shock waves through fans and analysts alike. If true, this signing could instantly upgrade Dallas' front seven, giving them a new level of edge rushing prowess and interior toughness that has been conspicuously absent in recent seasons. Lawson, known for his relentless motor and ability to collapse pockets, would join a defensive unit already seeking identity under pressure. The Cowboys' front seven has been a mix of potential and inconsistency, with flashes of brilliance often overshadowed by lapses in pass rush and run defense. Adding a player of Lawson's caliber could signal a more aggressive defensive approach, one that aims to dominate at the line of scrimmage and disrupt offenses before they can even establish rhythm. Insiders speculate that Lawson's presence could also help younger talents around him elevate their games, offering mentorship while simultaneously anchoring the pass rush rotation. While details of the contract remain murky, speculation points toward a deal structured to reward productivity, hinting that Dallas is banking on Lawson to stay healthy and maintain his high-impact play. Fans are already imagining the defensive packages and blitz schemes that could accompany a Lawson-led front, wondering how quarterbacks will adjust when facing constant pressure for one of the NFL's more formidable edge rushers. Analysts have begun drawing comparisons to some of the league's elite defenses, suggesting that Dallas could emerge as a legitimate threat to top-tier offenses if Lawson can integrate seamlessly into the lineup. Of course, all of this remains in the realm of speculation, with the Cowboys yet to confirm the signing. Still, the rumor has ignited conversations across social media and sports talk shows, with many pointing to this potential acquisition as a statement of intent from a team eager to assert itself defensively. If it pans out, the combination of Lawson's explosiveness and Dallas' existing defensive pieces could create a front seven that's as feared as it is respected. A scenario that makes even casual NFL fans sit up and take notice. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.